Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let us see a POC, that is a hands-on with how to create your own ChatGPT type model. I think most of you are using ChatGPT, but you don't know how to create your own ChatGPT. So for that, this video is for you. In previous session, I've already told you how to do that by using SageMaker endpoints. Now, in this video, I want to tell you how to create your own ChatGPT with Bedrock models, already available Bedrock models. So for that, in order to use any ChatGPT, we need some interface, right? Yes. So let's first create a front-end interface by using HTML code. Then we also access the model from Bedrock by using Lambda function. Through the website that we create, by using that website, we can even able to access our model which is present in Bedrock. So that is the whole concept that we're gonna implement in this lab. Okay. So first, let us create a front-end web page. For that, now I'm just selecting this folder, that is this is the Bedrock model chat GPT folder that I've created. Now I'm clicking on create new file. I just clicked on a new file. Now I got an option to write the file name. Now I'm writing the file name as index.html. So every HTML page ends with .html. Now here you need to start writing your code. So for syntax, this is a VS Code editor. Now I'm typing DOC. You can see there is a option highlighting. Now I'm just clicking on it. You can see I'm getting the basic syntax of HTML page. Now I got the basic syntax of HTML page by writing DOC. I'm getting the basic syntax of my HTML page. Now let's say I want to open this, I want to run this, or I want to open this. So for that, I'm just clicking on run and I'm just clicking on start debugging. So whenever I click on start debugging, it will ask you to open in any one of the web app. So currently I want to select Chrome. Now you can see you got the interface. So this is the web app, or you can say this is the website that we are getting from this HTML code. Now you can see the title, that is a document, that is also we have written here. You can see under title we have written the document. So that's why we're getting a title like this. Now let's say I want my title to be Bedrock model chat GPT. Like that I want my title, or else let's write my own chat GPT. My own chat GPT. And let's save this. So this is Windows system. So that's why I'm clicking on Control S. So whenever I clicked on Control S, you can see the dot got removed. That means the changes got saved. Now let us open the web page and let's reload it. You can see the title got changed. Now let's move on to our project. So first, what I want, currently I'm expecting a form, or just let's say I want a input box here and input box to provide the input, and I want a submit button here to provide the input and submit the input. I need an input box and a submit button. So for that, let's create a form here. Now I'm just writing the form here. Within this, I'm writing some input tag in order to enter my input. I need a text box, right? So that's why I'm typing it as type. I'm providing the type as text. Now I need a submit button also. So that's why I'm providing. So let's see this. I'm saving this and let's reload the page. Now you can see we are getting some input box. Now I'm also expecting a submit button. in order to get the submit button, I'm just writing the input. Here I'm specifying the type of this input, but this input is nothing but submit button. So that's why I'm writing submit. Now I'm just saving this and let's reload it. Yeah, we got submit button and some input. Now I also need the response, right? I also need the output response. So for that, I want to show it like I want the output response. To print the output response, I need a tag. That is, I am writing the division tag. Here I'm providing some ID and I'm defining the output. By using this ID, I'll provide the output. So for that, I'll write a JSON script in the backend. I'll tell you how to write it as well. Then for response, I want to write like the response. To separate the above and below, I want to write like a response. And for above, I want to write like label. To make it looking good, I'm writing label like enter your query in below input box. So I'm just saving this. So for saving, you have two ways. Just click on file, then click on save so that it will be saved. Since it's a Windows, you can press Ctrl S as well. Now I'm just opening my, yeah, you can see this is the web browser. Now the page got loaded and you can see enter your query response in input box. So it's not below. I don't want to put below. And saving this. Now let's open this. Yeah. Enter your query. I need to reload it. Enter your query in input box. So here I'll write my query like what is a SageMaker, like that I'll provide. Then whenever I click on submit, I need to get the response. That is the first I want to show the input, then I want to show the output. So for showing the input, I need one more division tag. And here I'm providing the ID like given input. Okay, so at this place, I want to show my given input. At this position, I want to show my output. Okay, so for this, to showing the given input and to showing the output, we need to write a backend JavaScript. So whenever a user interacts with this website and clicked on the submit button, then what is my expected response? The backend code need to the backend code need to take the data present in this box and that need to provide me the response, right? Yeah. So for that, let's write a script. So now I'm writing the script tag here. You can say I've written the script. Here I'm providing the source, that is script.js. Don't worry, I'll write it right now. I'll create it right now in front of you. So this script.js is the JavaScript file that I am using right now for this. Now I want to save this, so that's why I'm clicking on Ctrl S. Now here, for this JavaScript, I am creating one more new file. For this JavaScript, I am creating one more new file. Now I want to write the file name like script.js, the same name that I provided in my HTML page. Script.js. Now I provided. I just clicked on enter so that I reach to here. Now in this script, we need to write actual script regarding how we will get, or else how we want to provide the response when submit button is clicked. So that we need to write here. that related script we need to write here. Now first what I want, so whenever, so let's open the web page. So whenever an event happened, that is whenever this clicking event happened on the submit button, then what I need to do? I need to provide my response, right? Yeah. So I need to provide my response. Let's write the JSON script. That is, let's write the JavaScript for that. I need to check, right? So first, the event is happened or not. So that I want to check. So for that, we have event listener. We have event listener option is there. So where that event is happening. In this form only, right, all my submit button is present. Where my submit button is present? Inside this form. So inside this form only the event is happening. Now I'm providing some ID for this. In order to refer this form in JavaScript, I want some ID. I want to put some ID for this. Now I'm providing the ID like form. I'm just, since it's a form, I'm providing the ID name like form and saving the changes. Now I want to refer the form. So for that, what I'm doing is document dot get element by ID. Based on ID, I'm getting the element. So what is the ID? That is form. So I'm getting the form. Then what I need to do? Is my submit button is clicked or not? So that's the thing I want to listen. That event I want to listen. So for that, you have an option that is add event listener. Now I'm providing that add event listener. And here I'm providing what is my event listener, to what I want to provide my event listener. To this button I want to provide my event listener. So that's why I'm providing this submit. Here you can see I identified this button by providing some ID to this button. So for that, now I want to provide some, or let's say I want to use this submit. So that's why I'm writing here submit directly. So I've added a event listener for this submit. For the submit button, I've added a event listener. Now, when a event is listened, so then what I want to do? For that, we need to implement a function inside this JavaScript itself. So that's why I'm writing a function and event. So whenever an event happened, this function need to be executed. That is, the submit button event is happened. This event listener will rise and this function will execute. So first, what I want to get the data present in this input box. So whatever the input box, in that input box, whatever the data is there, that I want to pick it first. So how do I pick? In order to pick that data present in this input box, first I need to identify this input box. So in order to identify the input box, I'm providing an ID and providing the name like inbox. Now I want to use this. I'm clicking on Control S. So here also I'm clicking on Control S. Now here I want to use that ID to identify that input box and get the value present in that input box and store that value. So first let's identify the value present in that input box. So for that you can write the command that is a document dot get element by ID. So what is the ID of input box? So that is the inbox, that is the ID that I have provided. And in order to get the value, I'm writing this value. I'm writing this value. So this will provide me the value present in the input box. Now I want to store that value, right? So in order to further use that value, I want to store that value in a variable. So that's why I'm writing const. In constant, I am storing it. In input variable, I'm storing that in input variable. So that's why I return input and I storing that there. Now we get the input value. Let's say I want to display this input as well. Before displaying the output in my website, you can see under response, I want to display my output and input as well. So in order to display input first, I want to use this value. So for that, I'm writing the code. That is, so where I want to display my input. You can see here under submit button, you can say I have the response. Under this, here I want to show the given input. I want to display the given input. For that, I'm writing the code. That is, in order to display the content at this position, at this ID position, this is the given input, right? This ID I'm copying. Now I'm writing this ID here, or you can say I'm just getting the element present in the document. Document dot get element based on the ID. Now I'm getting the element based on this ID. And there, what I want in the HTML page, I want to replace that. I want to replace that by this input value. So that's why I'm providing inner HTML that is equals to. So I want to provide like a input. This is the previous prompt that will be displayed. And this is the variable prompt that is inside the box, whatever the prompt that we are getting, that will be saved into this variable. Now I'm just displaying it like this by providing that variable. Now I'm saving this, and let's open the web page and let's provide the data here. That is HAI high. Now I'm submitting. So what happened? Why it's not? Yeah, it's just displaying and simply moving out. That means I'm not. That means my website is clearing automatically submitting. I want to prevent that submitting. I want to prevent that automatic submitting. In order to prevent the automatic submit, you just write the prevent event.prevent default. Now I'm just saving this code, and let's open our web page and let's write some message here. Smart. Now submit this. I think first we need to reload this. Yeah, let's provide some more. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, it is displaying. Okay, now input is getting. Then what I want the output. I want the output. So in order to display the output, that to the same way, here just I'm just clicking on control. I want to copy this. So in order to display my output as well, I'm just pasting that here, and here I'm providing the output, or else yeah, here I want to provide output, and here, so then after creating the code, I'll modify here the output variable. So let's print the input as well in the output place as well. Let's print the output as output value as well as input value same. And here at what ID you want to print the output, that you need to provide. You can see the ID is output, right? Yes. Now I'm just copying this. Then here I'm providing that ID. Now I'm saving this, and let's open our web page and let's submit it, and or let's reload, and let's provide some input and let's submit to check. You can see we're getting the input as well as output. Both we are getting whatever the value that we provided in the input box. You can see we are just printing the input for both options. So that's why it is printing the same for both. Now we need to write some code here in order to send the input to our model and then get the response from our model and print the output here. So that's what happened, right? In real time, what happened? So whenever you provide some input like what is SageMaker, like that you provided, if you provide input like this and just click on submit, in backend what happens? In backend, this question will be sent to your model, and then that model will execute, and that model will provide you the response. and that response will be printed back here. So that's what happened in real-time backend. So let's see with it. So for that, in order to access any model, we need a model, right? Yes. So let's access a model from Bedrock. In order to use a model, foundational model, I want to use that model from Bedrock. I want to access the model from Bedrock. So that's why I log in into my AWS management console. Now I'm opening Bedrock. You can see I'm searching for Bedrock and opening it. And here I will access a model. Here I'll access a model, and or you can say I'll enable a model here and I access that model into my website. That is, here I want to access that model in order to get the response. Now, so in order to access, I'm clicking on this model access in Bedrock configurations. And in order to enable specific model, let's say I want to enable this Titan text G1 Premier model. So in order to enable that model, you can see you have this option that is enable specific model. Now I'm just enabling this Titan Premier G1 Titan text G1 Premier model and clicking on next. And you can see the details are here. You are requesting for accessing this model. Yes, that's true. I'm submitting this. Now you can observe. So within few seconds, you can see we can now able to access this model by using this model ID. So where do I get this model ID? You can get this model ID from foundational base models. And I'm just opening this. And here you need to search for that model. My model is what? Titan text G1 Premier. So except that all will show you like this account does not have current access to this model. But only this model do not show you that error because we accessed this model right from Bedrock. So that's why this is not showing that. Now I want to access this model at where? At my website. So how can I able to access that model? How can I able to access this model from my website? So in order to access our model from this website, we need a API gateway as well as a Lambda function. You might have question in your mind that why do I need API gateway? Why do I need a Lambda function? I can directly put the model name here, or you can say in JSON script and get the model, right? Then why I need those? So actually in real time, putting this model name in JSON script and getting the response from there is not the correct way, or that means not the process, because there will be some compute happen. That is, we need to provide this to this Bedrock model. So in order to provide this question to this Bedrock model, we first need to access this Bedrock, right? Yeah. So that Bedrock accessing as well as providing this question to that particular model, that whole thing is nothing but some compute action. That compute action, in order to perform that compute action, that is providing some question to this model. So first we need to access this model through this Bedrock, and we need to provide some question to that model and get the response from this model and provide the response back to this website. We need a compute service. So for that, currently for that backend compute of this application, now I want to use a Lambda function. So that's why I'm opening Lambda service, and I've already created one Lambda function that I'll open. That Lambda function is invoke Bedrock. That's the previously created Lambda function. Now I'll open. You can observe I opened the already created Lambda function, that is invoke Bedrock. So this is created by me just before the lab get started. Here I want to write the code in order to access my Bedrock model and provide a response back to my website. So first, in order to provide the response back to my website, first I need to access the content from my website, and I need to send the content and I need to access the Bedrock model as well here. And I need to send the question to that Bedrock model and get the response back, and need to provide the response back to my website to here. So let's solve this, or let's fix this issue. That is, first I want to access my Bedrock model from here. So in order to access our Bedrock model, we need to create a Bedrock runtime. So where my model is, in my model is present in Bedrock, right? So in order to access Bedrock, I'm writing this code. That is Boto3 is the library. By using that, you can able to connect to your Bedrock. I'm using this client function to connect to Bedrock and providing that Bedrock runtime. So I provided the Bedrock runtime. And in order to connect to particular region Bedrock, so where my Bedrock, or you can say where my model is available, my model is available in this North Virginia, or else if you observe US East one, so that I want to provide my region name. So that I'm providing here, region name, that is US East -1. So at this region, I want to access the Bedrock runtime, and I want to store that in a variable. So that's why I'm writing variable for this Bedrock runtime. Through this variable, I'm accessing this Bedrock. As a client, I'm accessing this Bedrock. Now, in order to get the response from my model, we have a function that is that I'm writing, that is by using this Bedrock runtime, I want to invoke my Bedrock model. So in order to invoke my Bedrock model, you have a function that is invoke model. So that's the function. And here we need to provide the model related ID. So what is our model ID? That is what we copied previously. That is this. I'm pasting that here. Then we also need to provide the question that we want to ask our Bedrock model. So for sample, let me ask some question by providing some body here. So we need to provide the body in the form of JSON script. We need to provide the body. So in the form of bytes, we need to provide the question to our Bedrock model. So in order to provide the response in the form of bytes, so first let us provide the dictionary format input. Here we need to provide the very important that is input text. This input text is the question that we are providing. So let's say what question I want to provide is what is SageMaker. So like that I want to provide the question. What is Amazon SageMaker? Like this I want to provide the question. So this is nothing but dictionary, right? Yeah. Now I want to convert this dictionary into bytes. Through the bytes only you can able to communicate. You can able to communicate with Bedrock. And you can even get the response in the form of bytes only. Okay, let's convert it into bytes. So for that, you need to write this JSON dot dumps. Now this will convert into bytes. Then it will invoke this particular model, and it will ask you the question, that is this, and this will get the response. Now I want to store the response. For that, I am storing that in this response variable. Then, okay, now here we're getting the response. So first I want to print that particular response here in this. So in order to print the response in this, I'm writing this response, or you can say in the form of string, I'm printing that response. Now I'm just deploying or saving the changes till the code that I've written. And I want to test this code after the update what done, to check whether my model is working and I'm getting the response or not. I'm just testing it by providing some sample event. and saving the event. And yeah, I'm just testing it. You can see we got some error like this. You may get some error, so that you need to modify by rechecking your code. You need to modify this. You can see Boto 3 has no attribute CLINET. Okay, client spelling we have did mistaken. CLIENT. Now I'm just provided the, yeah, you can say I provided the correct name. Now I'm just saving it again, that is deploying it again, and clicking on test, so that this lambda function will work. This will trigger, or you can say this will invoke our model in present in our Bedrock. You can see we got the response, right? Yes, we got this response. Now from this response, what I want, you can see currently this response is present in the form of, now you can see in this response. So what are the items are there? Response metadata is there. Currently this response is present in the form of dictionary. What I want only the response which I am getting. That response is present under this body session. You can see this body. Under this body session, this is the actual response that you get. Now, if you observe the response which is present in this body, which will be not understandable for me. It's like a object. Now I want to read that object. I want to get that body. You can see, where is this? Yeah, I need to get this body in the current response, and I need to read this body. So for that, I'm modifying my Lambda code. You can see currently I want the body of my response. That is nothing but body, that is equals to response dot get off. Or else if you want to see this JSON data clearly, just copy this JSON data. Just copy this JSON data and open a JSON viewer. So let's comment this for a second and let's test it. You will get the JSON response. That response, let's see in JSON viewer, so that it will be very clear to us. Now I want to copy this JSON response, so that's why I'm copying this till end. And to see the response clearly in a understandable JSON format, I'm just copying this and I'll paste it in another website to see the response clearly and get the body only. So that's why I'm just copying this JSON and pasting this in this JSON editor online. And here I'm just clicking on Control A, Control C. Here you can see I'm clicking on tree. Now you can see we're getting the tree model view. I'm just closing all the things. Yeah, you can see within this dictionary, I have three things, three keys. One is a response metadata, content type, and body. This body is the response that we are getting. So now I want to pick this body. So in order to pick this body, now I'm moving back to my Lambda function, and yeah, I'm unremoving this comment and I'm providing response.getOff. What I want body, right? Yeah, so that's why I written this. So how the body code will be? Can you understood this code? No, it's a object based code. Now I want to read that code. So in order to read that or convert this object based code to readable code, I'm writing dot read function. You can say I'm written dot read function. Now actually we will get the response. Now actually you can able to read the body. Now I'm providing I'm reading this body to see the data present in this body. Now I'm just saving the changes and retesting it again. Updates are doing to our invoke Bedrock function. Yeah, it's done. Now I'm testing it again. to see what body present in my response. So in that response also, I'll pick only the output text. Now you can see this is what I got. And if you observe, B dash is there. What does this B dash indicate? That means it's a byte data. Now first I want to convert this byte data into my dictionary format. So in order to convert your bytes data into dictionary format, you can use again the JSON related function, that is JSON dot loads, LOADS. So this is the function that you need to use in order to convert this bytes data into dictionary format. Now I'm deploying or saving the changes. I'm just retesting it again to check whether I got the dictionary format of response other than bytes format of response. Then again, I'll copy the what are the response I got, and then let's analyze the response and let's pick only the required response. Now I'm just I'm just copying this whole dictionary format of response. Now if you observe, you can see under output text, you can see whatever the output that we are getting for our response, that is visible. Now I want to pick only that output. I want to pick only that output response. So that's why I'm copying this all dictionary format data, and I'm opening this website and Control A, Control V. You can see, so this is how it will be. Now I'm just closing it. Now you can see I have a dictionary. In this, I have two keys. So one is input text tokens and second one is results. So where my output is present, inside this results, my output is present. Inside this results also, where my output is present, under this output text. So inside this results, first I want to get this results which is present in this dictionary. So in order to get the results present in this dictionary, I am rechanging the code from body. What I'm doing, I'm getting the results. So when I write this, what I'll get the data which is present in this, or else you can say I'll get this. This is nothing but it's like a list format it was. And only one item is there that is present at 0th index. Okay. So in order to get the 0th index element, now I'm providing 0. Then, so whenever I get this 0th element, now we will get this, that is this inside a dictionary we will get. In this, what are the three attributes I have? I have token count, output text, and completion reason. Now in this also, what I want only this output text, right? So that's why I'm copying this and I'm writing a get command for that. And within single quotes, I'm storing that. And I want to store this whole data into this output text variable. And at last, I want to see that output text. And I'm saving the changes till now what I have did to see only. Now, I'm just after updating, I'll test it to check whether I'll get only the response, that is this response or not. Now I'm just clicking on test. Now you can see we got only the required response, that is Amazon SageMaker is a fully managed service that provides developers and scientists with the ability to build, train and deploy ML based models quickly and so on. Now let's say I want to provide another question like what is Amazon Bedrock? Like that I provided the question and deployed the changes and let's test it. After the code got updated successfully, let's test it. Now you can observe we get the appropriate response that is related to Bedrock. Amazon Bedrock is a ML service that provides you access to foundational models. Now we are accessing one model, that is this Amazon Titan Text Premier V1 model. From leading AI startups as well as Amazon. This Titan, you can say this Titan Text Premier is from Amazon. Okay, we got the appropriate response. In real time, how it will be? This we will provide from where? From this we need to provide from our website, and we need to get the response from here. From here we need to get the response. So that's why I'm taking one more variable here. So in order to provide this question, I want to take one more variable here. Let's say the variable name will be input question. Input question. Now I want to take the question at first and store that in this input question variable, and you can see this question firstly I'm saving in this variable, and then I'm sending that question to this model, then I'm getting the response and returning the response back, right? Yes. Okay, now what I want to do, so I have created this, that is what I did till now. I have created my front end website. This is the front end website that I have created for me. And I have enabled access to my model in my Bedrock. Then I have created code here in my Lambda function in order to get the response from Bedrock to this model, to what are the question that I have provided, right? Yes. Now I want to connect this Lambda function to my website code. To this website code, I want to connect. So how can I able to connect? So for that, I'm using an API gateway. In order to invoke this Lambda function from my website, you can see I'm using a API gateway to invoke this Lambda function. Now I'm opening this gateways. You can say I've previously configured 2 gateways. Among these, I'm opening the API gateway. Now I'm using post method. Which method? I'm using post method, and content type is application/JSON. You can see what method I'm using, post method. Now I'm opening the stages, and here you can see post method related URL is there under invoke methods. Now I'm opening this post method related invoke URL, and now I'm copying this. By using this URL, we can able to invoke our Lambda function. This is our Lambda function, right? That Lambda function we can able to invoke with that copied API gateway stages related URL. Okay, so whenever this Lambda function got invoked, a event is generated. A event is generated. That event, let's print and see what event we are getting. Before printing the event, let's connect this API gateway with our website. So for that, I'm just opening my Visual Studio Code. And here I want to write some code in order to trigger, or you can say in order to connect to my Lambda function. Okay, now we are here. So what happens here? So whenever submit button is clicked, a event is generated, and the input box data will be picked and stored in this input variable. Then we need to process the data. That is, we need to request our Lambda function. Where is that Lambda function? We need to request our Lambda function in order to get the response back, right? Yes. Through what we are requesting our Lambda function, by using what mediator I am requesting my Lambda function, by using what gateway I am requesting my Lambda function, by using API gateway. So let's store the URL in some variable. You can say I'm creating a variable that is const URL. In this, I'm creating a constant URL. variable, and here I'm pasting the URL related to my API gateway. By using this URL, I can able to invoke my Lambda function that I have created. Now I want to fetch, or you can say I want to get the data, right? Yes, I want to get the data. From where? I want to get the data from my Lambda function through this gateway. So in order to fetch the data, I'm writing this fetch, and here I'm providing the URL. From what URL I want to fetch, that URL I provided. And here I need to send my question, right? That input question, whatever the user provided in my input box, that question also I need to send to my Lambda function, right? Through this gateway. Yes. So that's why I'm providing that question as well by providing plus, and that question I'm indicating with question symbol, and I'm providing that input here by using encoding URI component. So encode URI component I'm using. Here I'm providing that particular input. Then what I am doing? Then, so what happens? Obviously, you'll get the response for this fetching. Obviously, we will get the response. So that response, what I want to do, I want to print that response in my website, right? Yeah. So before, yeah, in order to print my response, I'm using then. So let's write that dot then. Then what happens? I'll get some response back. Obviously, I'll get some response back through this gateway. That what I want to do, I want to take it like JSON. I want to take the response in form of JSON. I'm taking that. Then I'm using that data. I'm using the data, and I want to do what? I want to print that I want to print that as an output, right? In my website, I want to print that as an output. So for that, let's write some code which is present in it. So how can I able to write the output? So in order to write the output, you can see this is the code, right? Now I'm just copying this, or I'm just cutting this and pasting that here. And what response I want to print? So whatever the data response that I'm getting, whatever the JSON data response that I'm getting, that I'm printing in my website, you can see that I have written here, right? Yes. So now we have written our JSON script as well. Now I'm just saving this by just clicking on Ctrl S. Now I'm opening my website. Here I provided the question. Now I click on submit. So don't worry, we might get some errors. Those we will resolve ourselves. Sorry, a mistake is there. That is a now we are providing the question from here. That is from where? From this to where our Lambda function. Now we have written some JSON, that is JavaScript code, where that will fetch the content from this URL by providing this input, right? And that whatever the fetched output that this getting, that we are printing in this output. Now, so in order to provide this output by taking this input, we need to write some configuration in Lambda as well, right? Yes. So now let's focus on that code. Here you can see we are getting the event. So inside that event only, we are getting the data which is provided. That is the input question. What are the input question that is provided, that we are getting to here. Now let's see that question from here. So in order to see the question, now I'm just returning only the response. I want to return only the response. So that's why before coming to here itself, I'm just returning my response in the form of my event in the form of string, and let's see the response from here. Now I'm opening my website. Let's submit this question so that we can get the response back. So where to see my response? In order to see my response, you can have two ways. So one of them is you can use console.log. So let's write that command here to see the response. You can see what are the data that I'm getting return. Now I want to see that, so that's why I'm writing this console.log command, and I want to print the data. Now I want to save this code, so that's why I'm clicking on Control S. Okay, now let's provide the question here. What is Amazon SageMaker? And let's submit this to see the response. So where we can able to see that response, sir? You can able to see that response directly by inspecting here. You can see, you can open your console here and you just submit it, so that what are the response that you get to here to this question, that will be visible here. Let's provide some other question. Amazon one SageMaker. I think input is getting printing, but output is not visible here. I think we might need to refresh the page so that what are the code that we updated, that will be updated to this. Now let's provide the same question, that is what is Amazon SageMaker. Let's submit this to check for log. Yeah, you can see we're getting some errors. So don't worry. These are the stepping stones for us to learn some more concept very importantly. Now you can see what we are getting. No access control origin header is present on requested resource. So there is no access control origin present. So how we can able to rectify this? So at where we need to rectify this requested resource. So this resource I am requested. I requested this lambda function resource. So we need to rectify the lambda function code in order to provide the response back to what to all type of origins. So currently no access control allow origin header is present here. So that's why I need to provide the access control origin headers. You can see under return you need to provide that. I provided comma, and here I'm providing headers. So whenever you get this, you can rectify that by providing this and colon. There you need to provide the headers. That is, first you need to provide yellow, or you can say first I need to provide the content type. So what content type you want to allow? I want to allow application / JSON. And so what access origins you want to allow, that you need to provide. Access control allow origins. Currently I want to allow all origins, so that's why I provided wild character, that is hash. And what head or what methods you want to allow, that also you need to specify. Access control allow headers, allow methods. So what methods you want to allow, as well as what headers you want to allow, that methods headers also you need to specify. So let's first specify the methods. Now I'm using post method, so that's why I'm using I'm providing here the put, post, and get. So these methods only I want to allow. That is whenever I get the request from get method or post method or put method, let's provide one more method, that is options. So from options method, I want to provide the response. So that's why I mentioned these. And you need to tell, so what Headers you want to allow. Access control, allow headers. So what headers I want to allow? I want to allow this content type header. So that's why I'm providing content type. Okay. So these content type headers I want to allow. Now I'm just saving these changes in this Lambda function. Now I again submit this question. Let's reload this page so that the previous errors won't be visible to us. Yeah, let's provide the same question and let's submit the question. What happened? So again, we're getting some error. What is that? That is, I think, yeah, this Lambda code is updated. Okay. Now let's reload this and let's provide the question. Let's submit it. Okay, again, we are getting the error. So in order to remove this error, we need to send the response also in a particular format. We have provided the response format or allowed headers here, right? In the same way, the content type we need to provide, right? Here we need to provide the allow header related content type. So while requesting my Lambda function, you can see we're fetching, right? We have written this fetch method. There we need to provide. So by using what method we are requesting and by using what header we are requesting, that you need to provide here clearly. So let's provide those two things. So in order to provide those two things, now, yeah, let's put it with some indent so that easily understood. Okay. Now, yeah, what method you want to use? I want to use, let's say I want to use post method since I have created my API gateway for post method. So that's why I'm using it. Now I'm providing the headers and specifying the headers. Those headers are, so first I want to provide my content type. Content type. So what is my content type? My content type is nothing but application/JSON. Application/JSON type content. So I provided my content type as well as my method. Now I'm saving this by clicking on Ctrl S. And let's open our website. Let's reload this. Let's again try to ask the same question. You can see now we are getting some response. That is nothing but whatever the event that we provided, that response we are getting. I think in order to understood this, I'm just copying this JSON response. Now I'm again doing the same thing. That is, I'm opening my JSON editor viewer and I'm pasting the whole thing here and I'm closing everything. Now you can see this is nothing but the question, right? I want to pick only this question. Inside my Lambda function, I want to pick only this question where this question is present. So let's close all the others. Where this question is present under this query string parameters, right? Now I'm just copying this. Now I want to open my Lambda function. So this is nothing but the event that is returned back. That is nothing but here we have returned the event back. So whatever the event that we are getting, that we are returning back. So that's why in this way we are seeing whatever the event that is generated. So while using this website and clicking this submit button, this whole event is getting generated. So that's why that event is moving from here as an input to this Lambda function through this API gateway. And since we are returning that event as response, we are getting that response in our console. That is this. Now in this whole response, what I want here in this Lambda function, I just want the question. I want to identify the question. So how do I get the question? That question is present here. Where this question is present? Under this question is actually present under query string parameters. So first under inside my event, first I want to get this data, this query parameter string data. So that's why I'm opening this. And so what I'm expecting for input question. So first let us get that input. So let's see input one, I'm providing the variable name, and by using the event dot get, what I'm getting that query string parameters. So that is nothing but this I got it. Then what? So when I type that, then what I'll get? This dictionary I'll get. So let's convert this dictionary into list in order to get this only question. In order to get this only question, let's convert the getted result into dictionary format. So this input one, I'm converting it into. So first I want to convert this input one into what? Into my list format. So that's why I've written this. And so in that list also, what I want to pick? I want to pick only 0th element. So what is the 0th element? That is nothing but this question. Let's return the same thing and let's check whether I can able to get the correct input question or not. Now I'm just saving that in this input question variable. Whatever the question that we are getting, that I am saving in this input question variable. Now I am providing the response back. I want to provide my response back. So that's why I provided here. I'm just deploying the changes. Now I'm just clicking on test. No, I'm just opening my website. Again, here I'm reloading it. Then again, what I'm doing, I'm just providing the another question and let's submit it. So during this time, what response I need to get? I need to get the same question as the response, because here we are identifying that particular question and we're providing that question as the response in order to identify that we're getting the question or not. So after we're getting the question, we'll send the question to our model and we'll get the response back. So let's submit this. So input is taken. You can see we're getting the output as same. That is smart. Okay. So like this, I'm able to access my input question. Now let's use this. Let's use this in order to provide the response back. That is, okay, this input question is taken previously. So that's why I'm commenting this by using hash. Then, okay, this input question is taken from, so whatever the question that we provided here, that question will be picked by this JSON JavaScript, and that question will be sent to my Lambda function through this API gateway URL, and that will be stored in this question variable, input question variable. Then let's comment, or let's remove this. Okay. Then this input question variable will store that data, that question data that user is provided. And by using Boto3, we connected to Bedrock runtime. Then we invoked the model, that is this, and we provided the input question that we are getting from our client. And yeah, you can see we're getting the body and we're getting the output response. Here we are printing the output response. Here we need to focus one more thing, that is we need to rectify, we need to provide these headers, because in order to allow these headers to provide the response to our website, I'm providing these headers here. Now I just removing this. I'm just removing other code. Yeah, now I'm saving or deploying these changes. Then again, I'm opening my website. Yeah, let's wait till. Now I'm just opening my website and let's provide the question, that is what is Amazon SageMaker? Let's submit this question and let's wait for the response. I think we need to reload this page. I think don't need, this will be updated. So that's why you're getting the response, right? So I don't want to see the console output as well. So that's why I'm modifying my JSON script. I want to modify my JSON script. Here I want to comment this. So that's why I commented this, and saving this by clicking on Ctrl S, or you can click on file and click on save, so that this will be saved. Now I'm opening my, yeah, let's clear this. And let's reload this. And let's provide the question like what is Bedrock, or let's provide the same question, what is SageMaker. Now you will get only response here, not here, because we stopped the console, right? Console.log. So you can see this is our question and this is our response. So this is our, now I'm just closing this. Now this is our own website we created. This is my own chat GPT. Here we are providing our own question. We're getting our own response. So let's provide one more question, that is what is Gen AI? So like that, let's provide some generalized question. What is Gen AI? Let's submit this and let's check with the response. So might the response will take a few seconds. You can see we got the response. Gen AI refers to the concept of AI that is capable of generating or creating a new content such as text, images, or videos based on given prompt or input, and so on is there, that is related to Gen AI only. So from this, what we can able to say, we have generated our own chat GPT by using what? By using a Bedrock model. So where is the Bedrock model that we provided? That is this Amazon Titan Text Premier V1 Bedrock model that we are using, right? Yeah. So in our application backend, we are using this Lambda to get the response from our model. Through what we are connecting our website as well as this Lambda function? Through the API gateway. Through the API gateway. You can see this is the JSON script that we have written. Now let's put it as a full screen to show you the full code. So this is my index.html code. So very simple, right? Very few lines, that is just 18 lines. But in real time, for decoration purpose, you might increase it up to 180 lines. I don't know. Even more than 180 lines also you can do it. Okay. Then we have written this script.js for our website related backend. That is for our website interactions. We created this JavaScript. In this, whatever the expected outcome that we are expecting in our website, that we are getting from this JavaScript. What it is doing? It is taking the input input box value, and it is sending that value to this URL, and then it is fetching the content. It is fetching the content from that URL by providing this question, and it is simply printing that in this output ID place in this output ID. Now you can see at this it will be printed. If you see your website, you might get the clearance. So it just fetching this data and providing the data to the gateway URL and getting the response and printing that question here, as well as the, you can see the response here, right? Yes. So let's provide one more question meanwhile. What is ML, or you can say machine learning? MACHIN, machine. Now let's submit it. So you can see the question got updated. The answer may take a few seconds. So might there will be some errors or mistakes. So that's why it is not processing, or else let's say if your backend server is not responding, then during that scenario also you might not get the responses, right? Yes. So if I stop the backend, now you can see we're getting the response. Yeah, I think I've asked too many questions, so that's why it is taking me some time. Yeah, you can see we're getting a ML based response as well, right? Yeah. Yeah, like this you can able to ask what are the question that you want. Like I want to know how to, I want to know a small funny tale. You just submit it so that you'll get some tale, funny tale. So like that you created your own chat GPT, right? Yes. Now, let's say I want to host this. Currently, it is present in my local machine. That is my HTML code as well as the JavaScript is present in my local machine. Now, I want to put this into internet. That is, I want to host this publicly. Then, what are the simple or easy ways to have? If you want to host this in Amazon, then S3 is the best choice for you because it's a static website, single page website. For static website hosting where there is a no backend code, that is we are using simply HTML and JS, so that's why you can able to host that simply in your S3 bucket by using static website hosting. Let's say you do not have AWS account, then during that scenario you can use this GitHub. There you can able to simply host your website as well. That is a static website you can able to host there as well in GitHub as well. In S3, if you want to host, then it is very simple. That is, you can just create a bucket and just enable static website hosting and provide index.html as the main file. That is your website file. And just enable static website hosting and provide your index.html as well as a script.js code that we just configured. So that we have seen till now. Let's say you don't know how to host your website using GitHub. I want to show you this method as well. So in order to show you, I'm just clicking on a new to create a new repository. At first, you can see I opened my GitHub account. Now I'm just clicking on a new in order to create a new repository. Now you will enter into this page. So here you need to provide some repository name. So for this lab, since it's my own chat GPT, I'm providing the name like Bedrock model chat GPT. Or let's provide some unique name that sounds good for your resume. Seems to be this is the very short and sweet. So let's provide some name here like deploying deploying a single page app, single single page application. Some description let's provide for this. So we are deploying a single page application with AI integration. We integrated an AI, right? For general queries using Bedrock. Using Bedrock. Okay. So let's provide this as the description. And yeah, let's put it to public itself. And let's add this README file. Then let's click on create repository. Now I'm just clicking on this create repository so that this repository will create with this add readme file. Now here I want to upload those two files, that is index.html as well as that script.js. So for that, just click on this upload files. Then here you need to upload your files. Now I'll just drag and drop those two. You can see I am selecting these two and dragging and dropping those two files here. So it might take few seconds. Yeah, they'll be drag and drop. Now I want to commit these two. I'm just scrolling it up and just clicking on commit changes. Then the changes will be committed to it. You can see those two will be updated here. That means those two will be saved to here. Now I want to host the website. I want to host this website. Now here, so in order to publish this site from GitHub, now I'm just clicking on the settings. From this repository, I'm just clicking on settings. So there you can able to see this pages option. So just select that pages option. So when you select that, you can see here build and deploy. Under that source is there, Git actions is there, and build from branch. So just select a build from branch. So there you need to provide this as a root. So currently it's I'm just saving with another. Then I'll again provide it as a root. I just provide it as again root and saving it. So within few seconds, you will get the website URL here. So just wait for few seconds. Now you can see I got this URL. Now I'm just clicking on visit website so that it will open me the website. Now here you can able to provide your questions. Now let's provide some question like what is SageMaker and let's check whether this is working or not. I just submitted it. So for getting the response, it might take you few seconds to minutes to process this. You can see we got the response. So this working, right? Yeah. So like this in real time, you can able to deploy your project. That is your static website, which is having a only scripts like HTML, CSS, JS on top of this GitHub pages as well. For getting response, you can use the cloud environment. Like you can see here, I am using this Lambda function, and by using this, I connected to Bedrock. Then I'm getting the response from this model by accessing this model in Bedrock. And you can see we deployed our own website here. So in this way, in real time, you can able to deploy your own website as well. I hope you understood this video. That is end-to-end POC with Bedrock, or you can say generating your own ML model by using Bedrock model, creating your own chat GPT, or you can say creating your own website from Bedrock already available models. I hope this video is useful to you. If you feel this video is useful, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Thanks for watching again. See you back in the next video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye, guys.